What happens when a child has a medical diagnosis or the child has a developmental diagnosis? So things like ADHD, like autism, things like, even speech delays that a child may have. A medical diagnosis or developmental diagnosis is not a label. It is not an identity. It just signals to you the kind of support that the child needs. And in many cases, these children can be helped to even become world changers, more so than counterparts who may not have those delays or those developmental diagnoses or labels, as you might call them. So if you find that you are in this situation, what I hope that you take away from this conversation, it's really moving away from that place of blaming yourself, feeling guilty about it, or feeling like now there is something wrong with the child, because we cannot hide these things. The moment we already have that perspective that there's something wrong with the child or that it will impact their future, or we are carrying a lot of fear about this, we pass that on to the child. So for instance, you begin to mirror it to them that there is something wrong with them. And of course, the child is very impressionable. So the moment you've mirrored that to them, they themselves begin to see that there is a problem with them. And from that place, there is actually a problem with them. And the problem is not the diagnosis now, it is the identity that they've actually absorbed as a result of how the diagnosis has been presented to them or how it has been mirrored to them. So I look at, for instance, there's this person, I don't remember his name right now, but I'm sure a lot of people know him. He doesn't have arms and he doesn't have legs, and that is how he has been since his birth. He has a more productive life than many people would have if they had 10 legs and 10 hands. And so these are conversations we need to have really about the power of identity scripting, about the power of how you mirror something to a child. And it's a difficult one for parents because you're navigating through fear. And this fear is genuine because, for instance, you may not even be a medical practitioner, so you don't really understand what is going on. You feel like there is a huge problem. But in many cases, the way that we mirror it to the child then has a huge role to play on the outcome that they have. And so this is something that we need to pay attention to if we find ourselves in those situations, to understand that we may need to support the child better, but we also want to mirror an identity to them that suggests that they are capable, that suggests that this doesn't have to become a box that they fit into. This doesn't have to exclude them from many of the things. This might mean we might have to push harder in some areas. This might mean we might have to, support you differently, but it doesn't mean that you have suddenly become a problem. And this is something, so shameful that I can't ask for help about it, and it becomes something that follows you throughout life. That is not meant to be the case.